Speaking of things, what is it?
Are you not sure what we're doing?
Tell them what it's about.
It's going to be about some things.
Oh. Okay.
Okay, let's just roll the episode.
Got it. Did you hear that? Did you hear that clink?
I did. I'm here. I heard it.
Welcome, Dave.
Welcome, Tim.
We're doing this. We're speaking of things, aren't we?
We're back to speaking of things. And perhaps we start by updating our viewers on some other things that have been going on since the last time we talked about the things we're going to talk about now.
Feel free to update me too, because I don't even know. What's been going on?
Update on the Wooly Mammoth. If you remember way back, episode 1 of season 7, I think it was episode 1 where we talked about the Wooly Mammoth coming back to life. There's been updates. Lots going on in the Wooly Mammoth.
How's the
world.
mammoth? Tell me. How's the mammoth?
Still dead. Still extinct.
Damn it. But they're working on that, though.
Still working on it.
Maybe a little background, because I almost probably forgot, because I don't remember what I did 2 minutes ago. So
Scientists are trying to bring back the Wooly Mammoth from extinction using Wooly Mammoth DNA. Going to cost about $65 million, but they think within the next 5 years, they will have a Wooly Mammoth.
just to clarify, though, I believe they had a coupon for $5 off, so it wasn't quite $65 million. And don't quote me on that, but I think they did have a discount.
I was rounding up, and that's my fault. I'll take ownership of that.
And I don't know that we ever came to the conclusion as to why this would be helpful, or maybe did we? Oh yeah, we did find out. Why was it helpful?
Global warming. It's going to help fight climate change.
And okay, makes sense.
And so the update here, before bringing it back and then killing it again.
Because that's what we do.
Right. Scientists have already found a way to eat the woolly mammoth.
You're kidding me.
I'm not kidding you.
Like mammoth jerky sticks?
Close. Mammoth meatballs.
Stop.
Mammoth meatballs. They're a thing. They've already been created.
No.
Yes.
How you create a mammoth meatball?
Great question. They took the DNA from a frozen woolly mammoth,
Yeah.
took it to a lab, grew the meat from a woolly mammoth meatball.
Holy hell.
They say that it smells like cooked crocodile meat.
What?
And looked oddly furry.
Wait, back up, please.
Like it had been coughed up by a cat or rolled around by a dung beetle.
Wait a second. That wasn't like a breading of sorts on the ball of meat. That was all au natural.
Correct.
The organic version of the ball. So hold on. They gave a smell comparison to what?
Cooked crocodile meat.
Now, can you, in your brain, go, oh, I know what that smells like?
I can't.
No. Crocodile, correct me if I'm wrong, in the States, we have alligators.
I believe we have crocodiles.
Do we? I don't have any, I can tell you that.
This is why we got to do the animal episode.
I know. So alligators, I know, are hanging out. Florida, home of the alligator. Okay. Now, they specifically said crocodile. So I just wonder now, I'm questioning, does an alligator smell different than a crocodile? I feel like they're pretty close cousins. I don't know how close.
We should call the zoo.
We'll call the zoo. I'm glad you mentioned that. I have something for you. But the smell of the crocodile meat, then you mentioned it looked furry, or it is furry?
It looked furry.
Okay, that might just be a mold issue. Might just be an old meatball.
And maybe they reference crocodile meat because it was done in Australia.
Ah, there you go. Okay.
By a company called Vow.
Vow?
Vow. Like wedding vows.
Oh, okay.
But for growing woolly mammoth meat.
Same thing. It's a wedding venue. They're serving up crocodile flavored meatballs. I don't know, mammoth meatballs. Mammoth meatballs. That's a good name right there. It just rolls off the tongue. I just put some mammoth meatballs in the oven. Who's hungry? I want some, Ma. I want a mammoth meatball. Honey, you had some yesterday. You gotta share with your brothers and sisters. Mom, can I just have one more mammoth meatball?
So unfortunately, cannot be consumed.
Spoiler alert.
Or at least no one has consumed it yet because the proteins from the DNA, the proteins that it's made out of, they haven't been eaten in thousands of years.
Because it's an extinct freaking animal.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they're not sure what would happen. Like you could I mean, potentially maybe turn into a woolly mammoth.
So I feel like this is one of those low man on the totem pole things, at least in human history. You're in the lab. Where is it? Val? Val, you're hanging out in Val. You got the scientists in the room. You got the lab guys that just kind of help out. And there's old Joey sitting over there in the corner. He's just sweeping. That's all he's doing. Scientists are looking at each other and going, let's just see if Joey, you see the shit that Joey brings in for lunch? Just give one of them balls to Joey. Let's see what happens. What's the worst that can happen? We got to get a new guy to sweep the room.
See what happens.
Joey. He's not sweeping anymore.
What if Joey is allergic to woolly mammoth meat?
Oh, what a kick in the nuts that would be.
I wonder if an EpiPen works for that.
I don't think so.
We should call a doctor.
We should. I'm the king of stupid food allergies, and that would be my luck. Damn, man, I can get some lab-grown woolly mammoth that are woolly meatballs. I take one bite, I'm down for the count. They're hitting me with the EpiPen, and it's like, nah, this guy's a goner. This predates the old EpiPen helping out.
It does.
Freaking Joey's going down. But what if Joey survives? And then Joey's the face of the mammoth meatball. They just got Joey's face on the corner of the box in the frozen food aisle. God, Joey just went from nobody to hero.
Yeah, so that's our update on the woolly mammoth. They've already killed it before they even brought it back.
Real quick, before you leave the zoo talk, speaking of zoos,
yes.
You know how Baltimore has a zoo, but it's not called the Baltimore Zoo anymore because they can't have nice things. It's the Maryland Zoo. You're looking at me like I'm crazy. This was years ago.
Yeah, you're right.
Because Maryland, the state, came in to Baltimore like the big brother to the little brother and go, you know what? You can't have nice things anymore. We're taking this thing back.
Was it in 2015 they changed the name?
I think so. It's been a minute. It's been a minute. So there was a major breaking news story. I don't know if you heard this. And
no.
The good news is we have, this is a very, very visual podcast, which is why we have viewers. Now, you're looking at a screen, Dave, and what do you see on that screen?
I believe it's an African elephant.
Damn, look at you. You said African elephant. See, I would have just said elephant. How did you know African?
I've been there.
No, wow.
And I saw elephants while I was there.
You're an elephantologist.
I wouldn't go that far.
Damn, I will go on record as saying I'm impressed by that. Nothing else whatsoever, but by that.
Now, as long as we're identifying things, this is a website too.
This is a website. Look at you go. So we've got an African elephant at the Maryland Zoo. What do you notice different about this elephant? And the viewers can chime in as well.
He has his eyes closed while he's drinking.
You're completely wrong. Well, no, you're right.
And the tusks have been removed.
If you say he has a condition, what condition or what has he encountered or has going on in his life right now that is probably not a good thing?
Wrinkly skin.
All right, I'm just going to tell you. So this elephant's got herpes. This freaking elephant.
That's why his eyes are closed.
Is that what happens when you get herpes? Your eyes closed?
I don't know.
They had a major announcement. And this is the second bout of herpes with this freaking elephant. Now, what is going on at that zoo when the children aren't there watching the elephant? What is he getting into? How is this guy coming home with herpes not once, but twice?
Have they checked the other elephants? Or
you know what? One of the other elephants is the anti-herpes guy. He's got the natural antidote. I don't know how that works. If he has to then eat the other elephant to get better, I feel like that's problematic. But
so this elephant's been having sex with other animals while the Maryland Zoo is closed.
I am not pointing fingers at anybody. And if that elephant wants to do its thing, think about it. He's in the Maryland Zoo. He's only got so many options. There's no elephant Tinder out there. Maybe there is, but he is not able to access the full repertoire, if you will, of the Tinder world for elephants. Like if he's roaming the African plains where you were, you went to Africa and saw the elephants.
I don't know if it was this one.
I don't know if it was either. But if they had elephant Tinder, they're going, sky's the limit, dude. I can get any elephant I want out here. This poor little fella, he's like, I got that elephant, maybe that one, which, not looking so good. The zebras are over there. That might get a little controversial. I'm not against African elephants and zebras hooking up. Don't get me wrong. I'm for it, actually. I'm pro. I am pro elephant zebra relationship, and that I am willing to put that on my Facebook page. Anyway, his choices are so limited.
Yeah.
And yet he's still coming back with herpes for a second time. Is he at fault? I don't know.
I keep thinking, we talked about the cat human dating app.
excellent app. Taken off, by the way.
Maybe we need an elephant dating app.
Elephant Tinder.
Yeah.
This to me, I mean, we got herpes involved. So this elephant.
Can they cure them?
They did. Or they can. Yeah, there's a blood transfusion. They're one magic elephant. I don't know what his name is, but he's got the magic antidote. I don't think he has to eat the other one. I think they just take the blood from one, put it in the other. Now, if they do too much of that, I imagine that elephant's going down if they just take all the blood. I'm not an elephantologist. And I don't know if they have like tubes that connect them so the blood's going in between. There's a lot going on there.
Probably just get a siphon from one elephant to the other.
You know what? You're probably onto something there.
You could use their
tusks?
No.
Tails.
Nose.
Penises. You're doing a flappy thing with your arm.
The nose. The nose.
I said tusk.
Yeah.
Nose. The nose. Yeah, the elephant nose. They could do that.
You just put the two noses together and then...
Just like iPhones. Like you can transfer a phone from... You just touch them together.
It's 2023. Why not?
All right, we get a little nose touching. Let's get that herpes out of there. But I tell you what, there's going to be about 3 of that shit coming back. You know it, because he's roaming around and I don't know what he is getting into. 2 times with the herpes.
And they don't know where he's getting it?
No. But I would look in... Hey, me? I'm looking in the zoo. That's where I'm starting. The Maryland Zoo. That's in Baltimore.
It's amazing.
So now Wooly Mammoth comes back. We got to let Val know there is a herpes thing flying around, and I feel like the Wooly Mammoth might be a player in that game because they're very close.
They are. That's actually how they're going to birth the Wooly Mammoth, through an elephant.
Don't use the herpes elephant for God's sake.
Maybe we should call. So Val is not the one that's bringing them back. I forget the name of the company that's bringing them back. Maybe we call that company and say, hey, don't forget to use the anti-herpes.
I think we need to do that. Yeah. You want to hit pause on this and take care of that real quick? I don't know what time it is in Australia, but I feel
no
like
way to tell.
There's no way to tell. But yeah, this is why Baltimore in many cases can't have nice things.
That's true.
Baltimore zoos, Maryland zoo, herpy elephants, poor little fella.
Good luck, little buddy. Good luck.
We wish you all the best. Speaking of Baltimore, have you seen this dude? He goes to the Baltimore Inner Harbor. Now, let's not dive into what the dude does yet first. You're familiar with the Baltimore Inner Harbor. And the Inner Harbor is known, one, for being water, obviously, hence the harbor name. And
only the water part.
Only the water part. And it's surrounded by all the mass killing and murders. That's where the harbor is. And then you have done the sup. You're a supper.
I have.
Stand up paddleboard. And you've done that in the harbor. Correct me if I'm wrong.
You are correct.
There was a warning issued to you guys about falling into the harbor, I believe.
That's correct. They said if we fall in, it's not a medical emergency, but we're probably done supping for the day, which to me sounds like a medical emergency. They also said if we fall in, to blow our whistle and wave our paddle over the heads so they'll come get us. And I feel like if you've fallen in, the whistle's probably wet. And then you're putting that in your mouth. That could cause a medical emergency.
I see where you're going. Yeah, because I'm guessing it's wet because of the water, you're thinking, the harbor water. Here is a device to alert us to get you help. Don't ingest the water.
No.
Take the whistle, put that in your mouth, and blow it. You'll be fine. You're already in the harbor. Can you explain to our viewers why it might be bad to fall into the harbor? I believe there's reasons.
The harbor acts as a basin, so all of the runoff from Gwynns Falls, other rivers, go into the harbor. And while there's tidal flow and tidal change, it takes a while for the water to turn over. So bacteria laden, a lot of pollution, sometimes sewage. They do say the harbor now is swimmable
by fish.
Like I think 40, 50, 60% of the time. And now maybe I know where you're going with this. But then also if you fall in, or if you survive the bacteria, or you think you're going to survive the bacteria that's in there, what actually kills people who fall in the harbor? You mentioned, I think, the walkway, the promenade around the harbor.
Yes.
People don't realize when they swim over to it, they think that the wall goes straight down.
Wrong.
Goes like 10, 15, the water goes 10, 15 feet underneath. People wound up getting sucked underneath there, and they drowned because they're trapped underneath and can't get out. So if you do fall in the harbor, don't swim up to the wall. Look for one of the ladders down there.
My understanding is you blow a whistle.
If you have a whistle. if you're carrying around a whistle, like if you're walking and you think you might fall in the harbor, carry a whistle.
Well, this is a good time, maybe a PSA, where we advise people to download a whistle app on their phone. In the event you fall into the harbor, you'll want to whip out your phone.
This is a good idea.
First, don't panic, because you got to get your phone out of your pocket. Do not drop your phone, for God's sake. You're gonna have to dry that off. If you have a bag of rice out, as a matter of fact, keep a bag of rice handy. If you're thinking you might fall into the harbor, you have that rice. Okay, your phone's already in the rice, so if it got a little wet, you're fine. Now you're gonna scroll through your apps. You haven't used this whistle app much because it's strictly for the harbor. You're gonna open that app up. Okay, you with me so far?
With you.
You're going to have to turn your volume up as loud as possible. If you're on silence, come off silence, turn your volume all the way up, hit the app, and do not call 911. You got to get that whistle going first. They always say before dialing 911, blow your whistle.
I thought they would say call for help.
Why would you do that if you have a whistle app?
It's true.
Think about what you're saying right now. You got that whistle going, you've checked your volume, you hit play. Okay. Now, everyone knows you're drowning in the harbor. Good 30, 40 minutes later, somebody's going to respond and ask you, are you still drowning? Now, if you're still drowning at that time, that's when you'll get your help. You're welcome, everyone. You're welcome. I just saved a life.
Standard SoT PSA.
So many letters. We know with 100% certainty that there are pathogens, bacteria, just funky stuff in the harbor. We also know, we've seen in the past, when we get a weather event called rain in Baltimore City, the beautiful artwork that just makes its way into the harbor. Every McDonald's cup and just the entirety of the city gets cleaned, which is beautiful. It's like puts a nice sheen and polish over the city with all the crime, even washes some of the blood down, which is great. And then that goes right into the harbor.
It does, yep.
Where it'll break down and make that harbor water nice and clean. It acts like a filter, so to speak. That is not true. We do have that crazy little machine with the giant eyeballs.
Trash wheel.
The trash wheel. There's 2 trash wheels now.
3.
My bad. So for those non-Baltimore harbor knowers of all things, we in Baltimore, once it rains, the trash wheel, it goes and works overtime. It takes all that trash, just sucks it up into its face hole, and then it puts it into a little bin or something.
Not only trash, dead things too.
Dead bodies even.
Yes.
Which is beautiful.
One time I was walking after a Ravens game, walking back at night along the harbor, and there were 3 girls, and they were also walking on the harbor, and they looked over in the water and they started screaming, and then they walked off and was like, oh, what are they screaming at? I went over and it had rained recently. So washed down into the harbor is a rat, and he did not have the whistle app.
I think the problem with the rats is they don't have pockets, so don't hold that against them.
Also opposable thumbs.
Damn it.
But it had clearly was not a good swimmer.
Nah.
I think instead of holding its breath, had tried to drink all the water. Because it looked like a 2-liter bottle.
Little on the bloated side?
Little bit.
Under pressure. Under pressure. Don't sing anymore. Under pressure. Who's that? Who is it? Under pressure.
Queen.
With who? Queen with who? Who's the other guy? Who's the other guy that sang it with Queen? Under pressure. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, careful. You know who's going to get upset about that one? Dun, 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 dun.
Nike.
No. Vanilla.
Oh.
Ice. Yeah, David Bowie was. And then the bass line. All right, bring it back. So we're in the harbor again. It is a foul, putrid mess, but getting better. There's a gentleman. I believe what is the term? Anthropologist? Is that where you study just history of humanity? I don't want to sound too smart, so that's why I'm asking this question.
I thought it was history of anthros.
Whatever. That guy, he does this magnet fishing in the harbor. And we are watching a little clip right now of the guys. They had a magnet fishing meetup. And look, this guy's pulling a chair out. This is the harbor fishing, okay? All you need is a ridiculously strong magnet, and you pull things out like, what's that?
I say scooters.
Scooters.
Pause right there for a second. You see they're pulling the scooters out. In the background, Pendry Hotel, $400 a night to stay there.
Boom. But you get, see the reason why? $400 a night? Because you have a window view of scooter fishing.
You get to see it before it goes on YouTube.
Before it's released. And they promote that big time. That's why, hence the price. 400 for real? Mm-hmm. 400 a night?
I think that's on like non-holidays and stuff. I think on holidays, much more.
What in the hell? Yeah, this dude, he's a YouTuber. Man, I wish I knew his name. We'll have to plug that in. What does that say in the bottom there? Salvage
Arc.
There you go. People, look this dude up because he's got some interesting stuff. The other day, I stumbled upon, it's not a new video. I don't know if he's using a hook or something. They're pulling out like a giant, not the scooter, like a motorcycle, not a full motor, like a Harley motorcycle, but you know.
Like a dirt bike?
Something, whatever. Pulling that out. Other dude lost his 10-speed bike down in, calls this guy, let's go magnet fishing. Boom, pulls his bike out of the harbor. This guy's doing a hell of a service.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know that scooter's going to be much good after recovery.
I mean, if you don't mind getting cut by barnacles on your hands, probably use it.
It's not so bad. I don't know. This is, I mean, think about that. The harbor. He's riding it. He's riding the barnacle-covered scooter.
Told you.
All around downtown. My God, that is entertainment. It's like, is it actually working? Lights are on. Nah, they're just pushing it.
They're pushing it. Probably needs to be charged.
But you notice, many of the locals, those scooters are the ones where you need the fancy app for, and you pay a couple bucks, you scoot your ass around town, fall on your face, whatever. Many of the locals, I don't know what they do, but they unlock the wheels somehow. They don't turn it on, then they just scoot their ass right around town. And then when you're done with it, it's beautiful because you have the harbor as your parking spot for your scooter. Now it's like a one-time use thing, you know.
And the good news, though, is it's not taking up space on the sidewalk and blocking people from walking.
Thank you. Public service for the public. It's a beautiful thing.
Beautiful thing. Maybe we can get this guy on the show.
Oh, that would be awesome.
You know, yeah, we'll look into it. Savage Arc.
Savage Arc.
Listening, reach out to us via email. They will reach out to you. So if you don't hear from us, reach out to us.
Good plan. Solid plan.
Next year, they're actually going to hold a swimming event in the harbor, like a competition.
No, You got to be joking.
Not joking.
And is it just to see? It's not about like how fast you swim. It's just to see who dies first or who lives the longest.
Who lives the longest?
Well, they're going to need that whistling app.
Definitely. We should get that together and we could sell it to them.
Inner Harbor Whistle app. Get yours today.
Speaking of Things is Ophically an international worldwide pod show in the Podiverse. Tim and Dave have big plans of being the first multi-planetary pod show by sneaking aboard the spaceships that are destined for the moon and eventually Mars. We ran the numbers and figured out that if there are billions of people on Earth, there is a fairly good possibility that there are billions of people on the moon and on Mars. If they are the only pod show in those two markets, their listener base will likely skyrocket, no pun intended, into the hundreds of listeners and viewers. If you want to get in early on this business venture, send us money and we will send you stock shares. If someone knows where we can get some stock shares to send, please email us at speaktosot@gmail.com. Until next time, we will see you next time.
I just put some mammoth meatballs in the oven. Who's hungry? I want some, Ma. I want a mammoth meatball. Honey, you had some yesterday. You gotta share with your brothers and sisters.